the problems in the bigger scope were so big that I was just trying to kind of like hold it all together. And then the smaller things kept making me feel triggered. Hi, I'm Charlesea Emilia, and welcome back to the Rest and the Run podcast. This is a podcast that I developed based on a journey that I took about a year ago where I really wanted to connect with the Lord and I wanted to develop myself mentally and spiritually and just give myself some time to not be okay. And from that, I learned that there was a lot of healing that needed to be done. And I really ended up doing quite a bit of healing. Now, throughout my journey, I've been kind of figuring out a lot of stuff, finding out a lot of stuff, understanding a lot of the trauma that I've been through, and also working through it. I'm not going to delve deep into the type of trauma, but what I want to do is essentially to become a little bit more whole and not just be labeled as the person with the trauma. I want to be in a space where I can just say, all right, I know where I was before and I know where I am now. And in my last video, I talked about how, I'm in a much better place and everything it feels much more peaceful. Now, I kind of wanted to expand on that a little bit because I feel like when we talk about having a peaceful lifestyle or having peace, it's kind of assumed that everything is fine and you're just kind of like floating through life. Absolutely not. What is actually happening is I'm experiencing a different level of calm. I'm experiencing less anxiety. I'm experiencing less trauma responses. And I think I kind of wanted to go into that a little bit more in the sense of having breakdowns. And what I've learned is that there are still a lot of things that will happen. And I may react really well. I may react, in not a great way. But in all things, I always know that God is center and He is before me and He is in control. That doesn't mean that I'm just like, oh, everything is rainbows and everything is fine. To say it in that way would be kind of like a misrepresentation of what the Christian walk is, because when you're a Christian, it doesn't mean that everything stops being bad or everything stops being chaotic. Sometimes you might actually have a little bit more chaos because now you're even more aware of tiny things that may be wrong in your life and you're more attuned to them. I'll use a good example. The other day, I lost a bid for a contract. I've been in a season where a lot of my life has been disrupted. Literally everything has been uprooted in my life. I really want to find that grounding again. But I've been noticing that the Lord is kind of like pushing me toward a season of being less routine, being less organized with everything. It's that I've been depending on that routine, that stability for so long that I don't always think, oh, well, like the Lord will provide. So I've been noticing that He is allowing me to go through a season of chaos so that I can be more dependent on the Lord and not as much on my own work or my own skill set and all of this kind of stuff. So it's been a shift, but also I'm seeing it and I'm understanding what I'm supposed to be learning in this season. And I'm just like, everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. And I started noticing that like small things making me uncomfortable, things that I usually would just be kind of like, oh, it's fine. The problems in the bigger scope were so big that I was just trying to kind of like hold it all together. And then the smaller things kept making me feel triggered. I even came to a point where my daughter, every time she sees a yellow car, she'll tap me and she'll say yellow car. But even like the tiny taps, I noticed they would feel like this intense shock going through my system. And I'm like, what is going on? She's literally just tapping me. And I would feel myself kind of like jump and like pull away. A lot of it came from the fact that all of this stuff is being uprooted. And I am honestly anxious, but I'm kind of keeping the anxiety at bay. I'm like, the Lord will provide, the Lord will provide. And when I lost the bid for that contract, I don't blame the organization in any way because it's literally their prerogative to choose my company or not. The problem is that everything else big was happening and I was just relying on this bid, relying on this bid, relying on that. Okay, this one didn't happen. Okay, I still have an option here. This one didn't happen. I still have an option here. And when I didn't get the bid, it caused me to spiral out of control because I've been doing all of this whole like, these past few months and I've been faithful and I've been and what's going on? What's been going on is the Lord's been showing me my routine has been this safe space. I started noticing that if by 8 o'clock I'm out of my house, I start to feel uncomfortable. I start to feel like my whole world is starting to shift. In the moment, I had a full breakdown. I was in tears. There's so much that I have to do. There's so much I'm responsible for. There's someone other than myself that I'm responsible for. And I started, second guessing if I'm a good mom. I started second guessing if the Lord has been telling me isn't what the Lord is telling me. Maybe it's me in my hubris. But even through that breakdown, I felt, okay, I've done this before. I didn't have a job. And right now I'm doing this all by myself. I have no help. It's just me. I kept saying that. I kept saying it's just me. And I wasn't focusing on the fact that it's just me in human form, but the Lord is there. So I started second guessing almost all of the decisions that I've made over the past few months. I'm breaking down and I'm crying and I'm feeling like everything I know is wrong. Everything that I've thought about in the last few months have been wrong. I am full of hubris and I haven't been hearing from God. I'm just operating in my own humanity, thinking that it's God. I started to spiral. And I kind of recognized the pattern where I was fine. And then I started freaking out. And then I started feeling bad for myself. And then I started just like second guessing everything. I just started ripping up my habits that I've had and all of the things that I've been doing for these past few months. And I'm like, oh, shouldn't have done this because it's my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault. In no time during this did I think, oh, well, you know what? God isn't here. I always understand that God is there, but sometimes we're doing other things that pull us away from him. And in that, I knew that it was something that I was doing. Even though I was in that moment, I was spiraling, I started to kind of like remind myself, you know that what you've been hearing for the past few months has been the voice of the Lord. You're fasting, you're praying, you're in your Bible. You know that sometimes things won't always they won't always turn out the way that you want them to. And I started to think about Job. I'm not saying that I am Job because I think nobody has been like Job. He was the extreme situation in the Bible for us to really see what can happen, to also understand how the Lord operates with us sometimes. Literally, I started thinking about Job and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to second guess the Lord. I'm not going to second guess what's going on. I need to do something. I need to have faith. I can't do anything right now because clearly right now my brain is so full. I need to calm down and I need to rest a little bit. I need to have a decent night's sleep because I hadn't slept for like 2 days prior to that. I was just kind of like anxious and working on different things and being productive. I decided that I needed a fresh night's sleep, but I was with my sister and we went to the supermarket. As we're walking through the aisles, I'm like, nah, I can accept that maybe I haven't made the right decision in every path, but I can't accept that the Lord wasn't talking to me in certain times. There have been too many instances where I would literally have a message, like literally have this little voice that tells me, hey, maybe you should do XYZ. And then I turn around and that's exactly what's going on. And sometimes I'm doing things, I'm being prompted to do them. And then I realize after the fact, oh, this is why I was doing them. I don't believe in coincidences, but I needed that spiral because it was actually at the point where I had started to notice, hey, I dedicated an entire year of my life to the pursuit of a Christian lifestyle. I decided that I was going to focus my life on the Lord for a year. At that time, I just felt like all of the negative thoughts, yes, they existed, but they didn't matter. And I genuinely did not believe all of the negative things that I was telling myself and all of the negative things I was saying about myself because it's not true. You don't feel comfortable in the darkness anymore. You don't feel like you're at home in self-deprecation. You don't feel at home in the negativity. Yes, you spiraled, but you're human. You were overwhelmed. You are human. You're not a bad mom. You're not an evil person. There's nothing that you can do that can stop the Lord. I love to believe that when the Lord uses you, he even factors in your stupidity. Yes, you do have points where your decisions do have consequences. But I also understand that the Lord is faithful and he is graceful and he is merciful. He understands that we're just humans and he understands that these are things, but sometimes he allows certain things to happen so that we can refocus our perspective on him. It's time for me to double down. Clearly, the Lord did not want me to get that contract. So that means we have to now pivot. I could have completely zero options, but have like maybe one or two still on the back burner. Okay, well, I focused on this bigger project, but it didn't come through. But I still have those others on the back burner. And we focus on them. Maybe that's where the Lord wants me. I don't know if they're going to work out. I would love if they do, but I just want to ensure in all things I do, I stay faithful to the Lord because I've had too many points in my life where I've gone astray, I've done what I want, and I still have those points. I am not perfect. I am not complete. I am not fully healed, but I am becoming a more whole person, being accountable for the things that I'm doing, but also understanding that the Lord is in control. Is it always easy to think, especially when you're going through these moments? No. Heck no. I panic all the time. I have breakdowns quite often. Don't even talk about, like those times when you're PMSing and your hormones are like up here and you feel completely overwhelmed by everything as it is. And then something extra comes on top of it. But there's like this amazing part of, after you have the breakdown, that you realize that the Lord was with you. The whole time I had this big breakdown and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, nothing that I'm doing is working and what's happening. But my takeaway from that was the fact that even in everything, I didn't give up on the Lord. I still focused on him. And that for me was more important than anything else because I often worry that, hey, things will get bad and I'll just kind of like sway to the side or I'll go back to like, sinful life or I'll abandon being Christian. And it's something that worries me a lot. That is a big fear for me that things will get too hard and I'll just decide I want to revert. Going through a period of, I don't know what's going to happen. Everything looks bad but I didn't give up on God, I think that that's worth everything. I think that's worth all of the sacrifices that I make, all the things that I can't do, all the tiny convictions that I get, things that, I don't want to do, and the Lord makes me do things that I want to do, and the Lord tells me, you probably shouldn't do it. It's all worth it at the end of the day. It all makes sense. And now I hope that you can take something away from this. I don't know, maybe you're going through something, maybe you're having an issue on your journey. I just hope that whatever you take away from this is something that can help you grow and help you build. Thank you so much. This has been the Rest and the Run podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe if you feel like you want to have more notifications, etc. Definitely, definitely. I always appreciate, growing my community. I'll see you in the next one.